17 timeline. We have World War I, 1914 to 1918, the Treaty of Versailles, the Russian Revolution, Our Lady of Fatima, the Great Depression, Pearl Harbor, World War II, 1939 to 1945, and Israel becomes a state. Okay, so World War I. This is the first war with airplanes. This is trench warfare, where men literally hid in trenches while fighting. And there's a nice picture of it on the front of your timeline. And then the dates are important, 1914 to 1918. The Treaty of Versailles. So this was signed at the Paris Peace Conference, and it's interesting to read about. This ended World War I, obviously, but I forgot that that's what began the German resentment, which later led to the rise of Adolf Hitler and the Nazis, because they were really mad that they were forced to take responsibility for World War I and pay lots and lots of money for damages and whatnot. So, kind of interesting. That comes from the Treaty of Versailles. The Russian Revolution. There's a lot of history. It's kind of, some of these are really fun to read. There was the last Tsar in Russia, which was Nicholas II, and then it talks about how this revolution began with Vladimir Lenin, who was inspired by Karl Marx. And anyway, the main thing is this is the beginning of the Soviet Union. So, interestingly, the next thing is Our Lady of Fatima. And, you know, if you read things about Our Lady of Fatima or hear about the day the sun danced, people, literally like 17,000 people, I think, 70,000 maybe, saw the sun dancing in the sky. She warned about the errors of the Soviet Union. So I don't see a number of how many people witnessed that. Anyway, so that's neat that those two go together, and you might want to remind your students of that, and it might help you keep these events in a good order. Next is the Great Depression, which started in 1929, and we know empty pockets. Then Pearl Harbor, that's when Japan dropped a bomb on our military forces in Hawaii, and thousands of people were killed, and that began World War II, 1940, December 7th. And World War II, so this is the Axis powers, the Nazis and everybody with them, and then these are the Allies. And we ended up winning, so it's kind of like a victory handshake. And that date is important, 1939 to 1945, and finally we have Israel. Remember when we said Abraham's covenant with God, 2000 BC. So this is those people, the chosen people, the Jews. They finally have some land, some place, a place to call their own, and it's Israel. So they got to claim that for themselves. One more time. World War I, 1939 to 1945, the Treaty of Versailles, the Russian Revolution, Our Lady of Fatima, the Great Depression, Pearl Harbor, World War II, 1939 to 1945, and Israel becomes a state.